Welcome to the Korean Atlas and History. Each episode, we will take you on an exploration through some aspect of Korean culture, the landscape, the history, and more. Today, on the Korean Atlas and History, South Korean holidays, Saehae. Saehae, or Saehae Chutnal, is the name given to January 1st, the first day of the Korean year according to the Gregorian calendar. This should not be confused with Seolnal, the Lunar New Year, which is a much bigger holiday in Korea. Saehae is not nearly as popular as Seolnal, yet it is still a red day at companies and schools. A red day is what Koreans call a national holiday because on the calendar the days are marked in red. As in the Western world, the first child of the new year and other firsts are celebrated at this time. Koreans also celebrate the first Korean celebrity couple to be made in the new year. This is also the time where men that are of age must begin entering the military service. Yet, as of the 1990s, men do not get admitted to the military until the following weekday, as New Year's Day is an official holiday. Because of this change in the holiday system, some interesting bureaucratic situations have arisen. One of the most famous examples is that of the 723rd Air Force, which had an entrance date on January 1st, 2015. Due to a trick of bureaucracy and the Saehae admission date, those men who entered on this date had to wait an entire year before they could receive their reserve training. This start date was said to have drawn students like bees to honey. Much of the reason for this confusion is due to the way that birthdays are calculated in Korea. When a child is born, they are considered to be 1 year old. This is because, in the past, the infant mortality rate was very high, and a child being born without reaching an year of age was so displeasing to the populace that the trend started of calling your newborn baby 1 year old. An additional way to justify this 1 year old baby is to calculate the age of the child in the womb and consider the 9 months in the womb to account for 1 year of the child's life. In this way, a newborn baby born on June 5th, 2019 will be 1 year old. Every year at Saehae, or the Lunar New Year, depending on the preference of the parents, the child becomes 1 year older. On their birthday, 1 year is not added. So when the baby reaches January 1st, 2020, she will be 2. When June 5th comes around, no years are added to her age. Her age is only added to on the Solar New Year or the Lunar New Year. So, if you are interested in finding your Korean age, simply take the current year and subtract your birth year, then add 1 year for your time in the womb. The addition of 1 year at the new year has had an interesting effect on the parents in South Korea. Many of them now wish to have children early in the year rather than late in the year. This is because a baby born in January will go to school with children the same age as them or younger. A baby born in December, however, will turn 2 in January, and they'll be expected to keep up with children who have had already 1 year to get a head start. Thus, in Korea, your birth month plays a major factor in your childhood and education. Throughout the history of Korea, Korea has often been influenced by China. Because of this, Koreans have been celebrating the Lunar New Year throughout the history of Korea. During the 1896 Gabo Reformation, Korea accepted the Gregorian calendar, yet the Lunar New Year was still celebrated in Korea. The Lunar New Year was not considered a national holiday until the 1980s when it was made one. Now, the Solar New Year and the Lunar New Year are both celebrated. Thus, Koreans joke that the Solar New Year and the Lunar New Year are a double taxation, although taxes are not actually paid. When a Korean hears the word New Year, they generally think of the Lunar New Year. The major tradition of returning to your hometown and meeting your friends and relatives is reserved for the Lunar New Year. Yet the Solar New Year has some traditions of its own. One such tradition is the ringing of the Boshingak bell. The Boshingak bell was originally constructed in 1396, yet it has been destroyed many times by fire or war. It continues to be rebuilt though, and in ancient Joseon, the bell was used to announce the opening and closing of the Seoul gates. During that time, the bell was also used as a fire alarm. Nowadays, the bell is only rung during the Solar New Year, and it tolls 33 times to ring it in. A second Solar New Year tradition is the eating of dakguk. Dakguk is a broth cooked with thinly sliced pieces of rice cake and eggs, marinated meat, and seaweed laver. Dakguk is said to give good luck throughout the year, as well as add a year to your age for each bowl you eat. Therefore, if you eat dakguk on Korean New Year's Day, make sure to eat just one bowl. On Saehae, Koreans continue to follow the tradition of Saehae Dakdom, or Korean New Year's goodwill, which generally involves bowing formally to others. This tradition is also followed on the Lunar New Year. Koreans also have a tradition called the first dream of the New Year. The first dream dreamt on the New Year is said to inspire those who have it and help them along their path through the new year. But don't be confused. This dream does not occur on the night of New Year's Eve. The dream occurs on the night of January 1st to the morning of January 2nd. One of the biggest Saehae traditions currently in practice is the first dawn on New Year's. Many Koreans travel to the East Sea to watch the first sunrise of the New Year Day. During this time, Koreans make wishes that they hope will come true in the new year. They set candle balloons in flight to send their wishes to the heavens. Some famous places to watch the first dawn of the new year include Jongdongjin Sunrise Festival in Gangwon, the Homigot Sunrise Festival in Pohang, and the Songsan Sunrise Festival on Jeju Island. We hope you have enjoyed the Korean Atlas and History. Much of our information has been obtained through the Namu Wiki and Wikipedia. If you want to learn more or study the Korean names of these places, check out our Memrise tool. If you wish to download all the episodes of this podcast, want more information, or want transcripts of this podcast, visit us at www.koreanatlasandhistory.com. If you wish to send us an email, you can email us at koreanatlasandhistory@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.